Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to this introductory course on compassionate communication for healthcare workers. My name is Christy Calix, and I'll be facilitating this online module. I have a background in linguistics, speech-language pathology, and palliative care, and I've been working at Emory Long-Term Acute Care for over 8 years. To me, compassion is one of those terms that is challenging to define, but we know what it looks like and what it sounds like when it happens in action. The purpose of this course is not necessarily to teach the meaning of compassion, but to help support the innate compassionate qualities we already have and to apply them to our patient population and to ourselves. Some of us, especially those who have been in healthcare for quite some time, may feel we have started to lose our compassion. While compassion training is sometimes viewed as a form of remediation, this course recognizes that individuals have the internal capacity for compassion at baseline, and that seeds of compassion can be nurtured and cultivated, seeing compassion as both a characteristic and a skill. In simple terms, we see compassion as something that is both innate to being human, something that is a part of you as a human being, as well as a skill that can be cultivated. So let's look at some examples of compassionate communication that are specific to the LTAC. These quotes were taken directly from reviews of the LTAC, and so the individuals being referred to in these reviews are actual people who work at Emory. The communication was superb. I received updates at minimum every 48 hours to discuss blood work, diet, and status. Each and every person I interacted with was personable. Thank you to all the staff who work in this facility. I have seen people who became part of my family and celebrated every progress for your loved one. God bless everyone for all the support during my family's hard time. She consistently goes above and beyond in her work and has a wonderful sense of humor that makes her a joy to be around and very smart. She took the time to explain every step of the care process, always ensuring my aunt felt safe, comfortable, and heard. Her kindness, patience, and attention to detail made a difficult time much more manageable. They both took the time to explain and followed up with all his issues. I'm grateful to have them as part of his care team. It made a greater difference for me in managing information and planning his care. I called a doctor, and he picked up the phone and patiently answered my questions. When you have to deal with overwhelming situations and the unknown, it is important to have a pleasant attitude and to be met with that same energy, and the staff at the Emory Long-Term Acute Care did not disappoint. Thank you for taking care of Mom and allowing me to have input in her care. I found an overload of professionalism and efficiency coupled with a genuine caring spirit. This is one of the hardest things I've endured in my life. The staff was so respectful and professional every day. I asked a million questions and they answered a million questions with no problem. They made sure I understood everything that was happening during my mother's stay there. In examining these reviews, there were some common themes that came up over and over again, such as being personable, feeling as if the healthcare worker is a part of the family, celebration of progress, going beyond the minimal expectation of what would be expected of a healthcare worker, being a joy to be around, feeling safe, feeling comfortable, taking the time to explain what's going on, allowing the family to have input into the patient's care, and answering questions. So a lot of common themes on being informed, being kind, being aware of the situation as a whole. And so some of the common denominators looking at this even more closely and making it smaller is that families and patients felt cared for, listened to, and safe. They were given a say in their care, and people explained what was happening to them. When we talk about or read about compassionate communication, you'll see that there's a lot of terminology that's been used interchangeably, and this can result in confusion. So for the purposes of this course, we're going to say that compassionate communication is 1, rooted in kindness and respect, 2, aligns with the suffering of another and seeks to improve that suffering. And 3, promotes dignity and the sense of personhood. Compassionate communication is what you say, how you say it, and the intention behind it. Communication is going to include both verbal and nonverbal aspects of communicating, as well as the receptive portion of communication. So the way that you listen, the way that you respond meaningfully to others. We'll look at a few of these concepts more closely in the later modules. I like the way that this infographic is set up because it includes the many layers that are involved in communication. So it's not just going to be the words that you choose or the way that you say them even. It's also going to be the way you convey it with your body language, how you respond when you've been given information, sometimes very personal, private, emotional information as a healthcare worker, and also how you engage and build rapport with your patients day to day. Let's take a look at this video by Dr. Sinclair. He's a researcher and a professor who has done extensive work on this topic. This clip is helpful for differentiating among some of the different terms that we often hear confused with one another when we talk about compassionate communication. Specifically, it's going to clarify the difference between sympathy versus empathy versus compassion. This figure is called the empathy continuum, and it reiterates many of the points that Dr. Sinclair made in the previous video. If we start at the bottom left and look at pity, pity is I am feeling sorry for you without truly understanding or connecting with your experience. So we move up a level to sympathy. I feel for you and acknowledge your pain or suffering. Then we move up another level to empathy. I feel with you and understand and share your emotions. So this is where we're getting a little more connected to the individual that is having the experience. And then at the top is compassion. I am moved by you and take actions to alleviate your pain and suffering. So not only am I connecting with you on this, but I also want to do something to try to help, whether it's by being there or by actually doing a physical action to try to help. I want to find a way to try to support you very intentionally. Taking a step away from some of the terminology, let's take a look at the benefits of compassion training. There are benefits both to the healthcare worker and to the patient and the patient support system that are relevant to compassion training. So let's start with the benefits to the patient. Research studies has shown that a positive outcome of compassion training is that there is reduced suffering for the patient. There's improved overall quality of life. The care that's given is generally rated higher compared to baseline care. It can be used to improve patient-centered care, improve safety of patients, and to improve patient satisfaction. There's also benefits for compassion training for the actual healthcare practitioner as well. Studies have shown improvements in level of stress, increasing job satisfaction, a reduction in overall burnout, and improved generalized communication skills. So skills that can be used both in and outside of the work environment. So what is the purpose of this course? The cultivation of compassion skills, including skills for self-compassion and resiliency, is the primary goal of this course. We as people who are working in healthcare, and especially as people who are working with patients who have serious, complex illnesses with plenty of comorbidities, lots of challenges in home disposition, family dynamics, etc. We're working in a challenging environment, and we need access to tools for how we can best help our patients and also help ourselves. And so the purpose of this class is to provide some of those tangible communication skills to try to make the workday flow a little more easily and to help improve the way that you feel about the care that you give and the way the patients feel about the care that they receive. So this first module looked at some of the terminology and clarified some of the terms that tend to be used interchangeably when discussing these topics. On the next module, we'll discuss making connection, building connection with your patient, the patient's family, whoever you're communicating with, because you need to be able to establish a connection to really communicate in a compassionate manner. And then the final module will be where we discuss some of those tangible strategies that can help you communicate more compassionately. So I look forward to leading you guys through this class. I look forward to receiving any feedback you may have on this class as well. I do have quite a few references to show you, and these will also be posted for each module as well. Look forward to seeing you in Module 2.